Well, hello guys. I hope you're having a good day. This video is going to cover operations with polynomials and solving systems. Let's go ahead and get started. The polynomial operations first. There are three types of operations that you're going to see in this group of problems. The first three problems are multiplying the polynomials, and that's where the parentheses are touching each other. And then the last three are adding and subtracting. And so when you see these problems on homework or on your quiz, you want to pay close attention to what operation they're asking you to perform. So the first one that we are going to look at is multiplying. Now you may have learned how to multiply polynomials by following the FOIL directions, first, outside, inside, last. That's perfectly fine. I also like to use the phrase double distribution. They both tell you to do the same thing. So you can think of it as multiplying the first or just distributing this x to both of those terms there. So if we multiply x times 2x and x times 1, we get these terms, and then we can distribute that negative 9 to both of the terms and get negative 18x minus 9. So we multiplied the first, outside, inside, and last terms, or we double distributed them. Last thing we need to do is just combine our like terms. So we get 2x squared minus 17x minus 9, and we're done. All right, so we'll see that again here in number 2. Again, we're multiplying two binomials, so we can do first outside or double distribute there. So 4x cubed this time. 4x squared times negative 7 is negative 28x squared. And then double distribute that negative 3 there, and you're going to get negative 3x plus 21. So we multiplied. Now we have to see if there are any like terms that we can combine. There are not, so this is our final answer. None of these terms have the same variable or exponent, so we can't combine them. And then number 3, same multiplication with the polynomials. This time we have a binomial and a trinomial because there's 3 terms in the second parentheses. But as far as the steps go, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to take the x and we're going to distribute it to each of the terms in that second parentheses. So we'll do x times 2x squared is 2x cubed. X times negative 4x is minus 4x squared. X times 1 is just x. And then we'll distribute the negative 3 to all 3 of those terms. So we get negative 6x squared, positive 12x, and then negative 3. So we have all of those, and then we want to, again, combine our like terms. So there are no other x cubed terms, so that stays the same. We have negative 4 and negative 6x squareds, so that's negative 10x squareds. We have 1x and 12x, which makes 13x's, and then that negative 3 stays by itself. So here is our final answer for multiplying that binomial and trinomial. Okay, so that's multiplying. Now these next 3 here are adding or subtracting. So with these, we are not multiplying. When you see this plus sign in the middle, you should never multiply. We're only going to be combining like terms. So with this plus sign in the middle, we're just, again, going to combine our like terms. So I see I have negative 6x cubes. Those are the only x cubes I have in this whole expression. Then I look at the next one after x cubed comes x squared. Now I only see that positive 15x squared. The next term I'm going to look at are the x's. So I have an 8 and a negative 13. 8 minus 13 is negative 5x. And then the last term I see is that negative 17. So here again, I never ever multiplied, I never distributed because the sign between the two polynomials is plus. So I'm just going to combine my like terms. Now we're going to do something very similar with subtracting. The only difference is we have to change the sign of each of the terms in this second parentheses. We kind of have to distribute this negative, if you will. And anytime you multiply by a negative, you just change the sign. So I'm going to change the positive 2x squared to a negative, the negative 8x to a positive, and the positive 10 to a negative 10. Once I change all those signs, now I just do the exact same thing as number 4 and just combine my like terms. So I'm going to see my 4x squared and my negative 2x squareds leave me with 2x squareds. The x and the positive 8x combine to get me 9x. And then the 8 and the negative 10, 8 minus 10 leaves me with negative 2. And so I was able to combine those terms as well. Again, I did not multiply. Number 6, this kind of puts both of them together. Here, what we're doing is we have this negative 2 in front of this polynomial. So we're first going to distribute the negative 2. And so we'll get negative 16x squared, negative 14x, and then positive 26. After we distribute that negative 2, this, where that negative 2 is, it becomes a plus sign, like a plus 1. So again, we're still not multiplying the two polynomials together, we're adding them. So this polynomial, I'm just going to copy down. And now that I've distributed the negative 2, now again, I'm just going to add the two polynomials, combining the like terms. So 3x squared minus 16x squared is negative 13x squared. The 11x and the negative 14x combine to negative 3x. And then the negative 10 and the positive 26 leaves me with positive 16. So there I have combined those polynomials. Okay. Number 7 has polynomials as well. This one though, notice numbers 1 through 6 didn't have any equal signs. We're not solving in numbers 1 through 6. We're just simplifying. So let's kind of make note of that. Here we're simplifying. So I'm just going to write simplify. Where here in number 7 we are solving. Okay, we solve only when you have an equation, something with an equal sign. So we see here in number 7, there's an equal sign, so we have to solve for x. So what we're going to do here is first simplify, kind of follow our order of operations, and then isolate x. So here we have 3 squared is 9. When you are squaring a polynomial like this, you have to make sure that you multiply that expression by itself. So x plus 2, that quantity squared means x plus 2 times itself. Same thing with the x plus 3, x minus 3 squared. It's going to be x minus 3 times itself. And this is really, really important. X plus 2 squared is not x squared plus 4. You can't just distribute that squared, okay? That is not true. You have to multiply it by itself. So what we're going to do here is, again, double distribute. We're going to get x squared plus 2x and 2x plus 4. And combine those, and we're going to have x squared plus 4x plus 4. And then, again, that 9 is just going to drop down. So if I simplify this left-hand side, I'm going to have x squared plus 4x. The 9 plus 4 is 13. So that's on the left-hand side of the equal sign. So then I'm going to go ahead and do something very similar with the right-hand side of the equal sign. And, oops, I'm going to double distribute the x. So I'm going to have x squared minus 3x. Distribute that negative 3, negative 3x plus 9. Combine my like terms, and I'll have x squared minus 6x plus 9. So this is the simplifying part. I simplified the left-hand side, and then I simplified the right-hand side. So what I'm going to do is just simply move this term over here, move this equation here. Now I'm going to focus on solving for x. So here we have to move things from one side of the equal sign to the other. So I can subtract x squared from both sides, and those cancel. Then I'm going to add 6x to both sides to get the x's all on one side. So what I have then is 10x plus 13 is equal to, the 6x's cancel, 9. And so then I'm going to keep going, and I have, I'll subtract 13 from both sides, and I'll have 10x equals negative 4. So my last step here is to solve that equation 10x equals -4 by dividing both sides by 10. And I have x equals -4/10, which can be reduced to -2/5. And we can do that by hand by finding a GCF or just using your calculator. And we'll talk about that in class, how to simplify with your calculator. All right, that is polynomials. Be sure to highlight, circle, mark any problems that you were a little bit confused on. Mark them on your notes so that you can ask me tomorrow in class, or maybe just rewind the video and listen to my explanation again.